Hey everyone, it's Alex, and I'm here with Kelsey, who some of you might remember from our anti-TBR video. Today we're here to do our mid-year book Freakout tag, which I feel like the last one to have done. Kelsey did this a few years ago too on my channel. We have some answers here, and we'll go back and forth and respond to them. So I'll let you go first, because I feel like
Can you ask
people
the question
watching,
and then I'll answer?
yeah, people watching probably are like used to, or they might know like what I plan to say. So
Yeah, I feel like I can guess what you're gonna say too.
Yes.
As a friend and a watcher.
So question one, best book you've read so far this year?
Fake Accounts by Lauren Euler.
Oh, okay, yeah, that was my guess for you.
That one is so good. It was like super cerebral, but also like I've never read anything like it. And I felt like it was such like a 2021 book.
I liked it too. I liked it a lot. Probably one of my favorite reads. But instead of that one, I was gonna pick it. I said Detransition Baby by Tori Pierce, which you still haven't read yet.
I know, I haven't.
You're not an ally. So. Like I think when you read it, like you'll like. It took me to get in the swing of things of it, but I think it really just had a lot of complex things to say about like how the trans community fits within like the wider narrative of like the gay community in a way.
Yeah, so you seem like you thought it was like a really like intellectual take on like you got a lot out of it.
Yeah, I think in a way it was like a nice companion. It made me, my brain like work a lot the same way when I read that gay bar book earlier this year, like the nonfiction stuff. So I think that's sort of what set me off with thinking about it. Question two, the best sequel you've read so far this year?
I have not read a sequel.
None at all?
Oh wait, I read, I guess The Cost of Living is considered a sequel.
Yeah.
But I haven't read the first one. I had no idea what it was. I knew it was like an autobiography, but I didn't know like the theme of like transitioning like physically in different spaces. So I thought it was good at what it did. That's the one that I hear everyone talking about, which is why I didn't
The Cost of Living one?
Yeah, the first one, I don't even know its name because I don't hear people talking about it as much.
I think it's her most famous one. Mine was Youth technically is a sequel, but then also Dependency from Tove Ditlevsen, the Copenhagen trilogy. Yeah. I just read them all at once because of that like volume that came out this year. But I mean, Youth, the second one, I think is the worst one, but as like a whole collection, I think it really works, even if they were released separately. But yeah, that was really good. I think you'll like it too whenever you read it.
Yeah, I have it checked out from the library, as you know.
Question three, a new release you haven't read yet but want to.
I put Everyone Knows Your Mother is a Witch by Rick.
Oh yeah, that book you got.
Galchen, which your friend Jalen.
Yeah.
I heard him talk about, which I'm hoping is like a Hamnet vibe. I was reading the author. I know nothing about this author, but she is a doctor. Like she has her medical license.
Oh really?
Which is I just always find it.
That's a surprise. Yeah.
Yeah.
How like people who don't seem like they get into writing kind of do. Kind of like Brandon Taylor. He was like in sciences and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like that book is like such a specific historical fiction novel.
That's like a really niche like topic.
And then I mean, Filthy Animals.
Yeah.
Of course. I mean, who hasn't said that?
I put it's a book called Catch the Rabbit, which I only heard about because Claire mentioned it maybe like a month ago or something in a video, but she compared it to maybe sounding like Ferrante-esque because it's like female friendship stuff. So I'm really curious. So I think I'll like it. Right. Ooh. Question four is most anticipated release for the second half of the year that you want to read.
Well, this question is annoying because I feel like everyone has said the.
I
literally don't think I've watched one that.
I'll say it at the same time as you.
Oh. Wait.
Okay, let's try that again.
I've repressed the title already.
Beautiful World, where are you? Yeah, Sally Rooney. Yep. I put Oh Beautiful by Jung Yoon, which is, you know that book Shelter? Like it took off like a few years ago, kind of. Well, she's the same writer as this one, but it comes out in November. I got a galley of it from NetGalley, but it's about like a young girl who used to be a model, but now she's a freelance writer. She moves back to her hometown in North Dakota. She's like trying to navigate her relationship with being like Asian American, I think, but also like.
Did you say it was like a memoir?
Or no, it's a novel. It's a novel. So I always like Asian American narrative stuff. Yeah. So I'm curious what she'll do with that.
And you say Sally Rooney.
I know, yeah. She would be my second one. Biggest disappointment of the year so far.
I meant to text you about this when I read it, and I was like, I'll just tell him.
Is it a book I read?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay.
It's Motherhood by Sheila Heti.
You can't say that on BookTube. I've only heard good things about motherhood, so...
Well,
oh, wow. You're, like, the first I've heard that's, like...
Well, I can, like, point to an exact part of the book where I was like, this is... I don't get it. In a part of the book, I get what she's doing, okay? Like, I get the whole metaphor and everything, but, like, there's one part where she's, like... I've always kind of envied gay men because they kind of essentially, like, have a community and an identity too.
That's
I
nice.
didn't like that.
That's a nice sentiment, I guess, but that does, feel
like,
problematic.
Yeah, it felt like the same vibe as when I was reading Olivia Lang's In the Lonely City, where she's like, I read about transgender people, and I consider myself trans because I operate across all wavelengths or something weird.
I definitely glanced over that.
That gave me like the same vibe of that. I was like, it feels like we could have knocked that out.
I put, I told you about this one, but Black Buck by Mateo.
Yeah.
It just felt really like cringy and like commercially. I feel like if I had known more about it, like feeling like that as I was reading it, I would have like been more approachable to it. But it's like that movie, like Sorry to Bother You. Like it was like satirical.
Yeah.
It feels like that, but like I think Black Buck would have been better as like a visual manifestation of what it was going for, because like reading it was trying to like subvert like what it's like being like a person of color in a white environment, like through corporate America.
Yeah.
But it went like too far. I don't think it was like executed very well. Question 6, your biggest surprise of this year so far?
Oh, actually, disappointment. I had one under it too. Early Work by Andrew Pine. And when I freaking told you that I didn't like it, you were like, it's a satire. Like I wouldn't get that.
Biggest surprise?
Muriel Sparks, The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, which I was telling you about, which I've never, I know that's like, well now I know it's like a 1960s classic, but I saw it at a bookstore and I got it because it was like a short little guy and just from like reading the back. But it is like so character driven and it has like a big cast of characters. I just don't know how she did it, making them all like in that short amount of time like so lively.
I feel like her works were known for like being like little powerhouses of like, so they don't take a lot of time, but they like feel like they like are long lasting and stuff.
Yeah.
My biggest surprise was Crying in H Mart,
which
I literally just finished, because like what I was telling you, like the aspect of celebrity memoir, like Abby Jacobson's memoir, it felt like it was nice. It felt very like passion project-y though, but this one felt really like linear and like really like there was a lot of thought to the organization, I think. Yeah. So yeah, I was really impressed.
Yeah, I want to read that.
So I really liked it. New favorite author?
Oh, Brian Washington.
Oh, really?
I love, and I feel like, well, I read a lot, which I loved.
Yeah, I like that one too.
That was like, that writing like blew me away. His novel.
Memorial.
I almost called it Memory. Memorial, and that blew my mind too. And I feel like that got such like mixed reviews from people I saw, but I thought it was great.
Because he said something like, it began as a short story, but he just made it longer.
Yeah.
And I got that vibe. So I felt like it became a little tired towards the end.
I also feel like that intertwined a lot with like virtual events, like author events happening. When I was reading that and he was doing a lot, that could have invested me more in it.
Well, my answer may be a surprise to no one because I just say her name, like first and last name all the time. Manai Mizumura. So like between a true novel and then recently I read an I novel.
Yeah.
Just like her whole conversation with like Japanese literature and like how special it is to her and like how she implements it into her fiction, I think is like really fascinating.
I was gonna get that at the bookstore, and then you were like, you can't do that.
Oh yeah, I was like, I had a special order online to find the book somewhere.
Do you think they'd laugh at me if I went and
they're like,
books, and I was like,
do you have Manai Mizumura? A true novel by Manai Mizumura. Question 8, your newest fictional crush, or if you have one.
I don't have a fictional crush. Well, I put a non-fictional crush, but I'm just gonna say it for the next one. I couldn't think of a fictional crush. Because like all the books, I feel like you two that we read are like sad. Are you gonna say something that makes me feel bad for you?
No. My fictional crush would be, I don't remember his name. He's more like a side character in The Lost Daughter by Elena Ferrante. But it's because the adaptation they're doing of the book is gonna have, is his name Paul Mescal? Yeah, from like in Normal People.
He's a cutie, yeah.
He's gonna be that character. So I already know I'm gonna like fall in love with him.
Yeah.
So.
Favorite character?
Oh, okay. You can go ahead.
Well, I don't know if this counts, but in 84 Charing Cross Road, which the woman who published it, who's like writing the letters to the bookseller, Helene Hump. I love her. She's like zesty and bitey and witty and like kind of like doesn't read the room. It's just like really into books. I don't know, I love her.
My new favorite character is Reese from Detransition Baby. In a way, like she's very much like read the room, or like doesn't read the room, I guess, but she feels like so fully fleshed out as a character and like really complex. So I still think about like her character months later and like how well she was, like well crafted. Number 10, a book that made you cry.
I didn't actually have a book that made me cry, but I wrote one that probably made me like the most emotional, which was The Undocumented Americans. That was like, that kind of blew my mind too, because I didn't expect, I mean like I knew the context of it, so I knew it was going to be like a heavy hitting, like reporting story. She like really went in on like getting to know like immigrant workers and like the areas that she was investigating, and it was like, it's a hard read.
I didn't know you read that, but it's on my TBR too.
Yeah, I don't tell you everything.
For me, I didn't really have one either that, like, not literally crying, but I guess the most, like, emotional, like you said, might just be, like, Pop Song by Larsa Fan. It's basically, like, a breakup book in a way. Even though I thought I described it, like, sometimes reading, like, through Jenny Holzer truisms and stuff. Like, her intent is really, like, raw and emotional. So I really appreciated it. Question 11, a book that made you happy.
He squeaked. You know this, or you've read this one, Saigon by Food Trend, which I felt like kind of flew under the radar. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was like a memoir, but it was, I mean, the writing wasn't like the best thing I ever read, but like I thought it was like such a compelling story, and
Did you do audio or did you?
I did audio.
Audio? Doesn't he narrate it?
And which is fun. The whole like punk scene that he goes into, if you've like, you know, gone to like punk shows and like punk houses and stuff, it's like cool to like relive that through that. Yeah, I thought it was great.
Mine was probably, out of everything, Milk Fed by Melissa Broder. So
that made you happy?
Yeah, because sometimes like she would like, you know, go off the deep end and say something really inappropriate. I thought the book was fine itself, but I love how she like wrote an LA based story. I wished it was like a short story collection versus a novel, because I think she could do a lot with like the backdrop of LA. I think she like really
that is true. She does write about LA really well.
Yeah.
That's how I feel with Olivia Ling. Like I feel like she writes about New York really well, but like Crudo, I feel like she was really bad at writing New York.
Question 12. The most beautiful book you bought or received as a gift this year.
Oh, Funny Weather by Olivia Ling.
Oh yeah.
Which the book was fine.
Yeah.
But
it has like literal pictures in it too, right?
Yeah, it does. But the cover is like that
pink.
That good old Ella Botman pink. There's like a gray image that's like the photo placement, which just like gets me every time.
That is a good choice.
Yeah.
Mine was Fake Accounts by Lauren Euler. Just like that shimmery like cover, and plus it reminds me of like an Animal Collective cover. You know what I mean?
Yeah. All the covers for that book, they're all like overwhelming, but in like a good way. The last question, right? To read?
Oh yeah. Question 13. The books you need to read by the end of the year.
Well, I have books that I'm just like excited to read. The Copenhagen trilogy that I'm excited to read. Filthy Animals, of course. Second Place. I took that on our trip last weekend, and I was just gonna read it. And then I didn't end up doing, like I was saving it for that trip because I knew I was gonna like devour it, and then I didn't do it. And then How We Fight for Our Lives by Sadie Jones, because I know I'm gonna love that one too.
You'll really like that one. So yeah, those are all good. I think you'll like all of them.
And I'm going through like that Edith Wharton phase right now. So, and the Buccaneers.
I said, of course, like Filthy Animals.
Yeah.
And the new Rooney coming out, but something I said in an earlier video, which is like this year I want to read some of those Appalachian-based books, like Sounds Like Titanic, Stay and Fight, and Dope Sick, which is nonfiction, but about like the opioid crisis in Appalachian area.
But freaking Kendra Winchester hasn't posted a recommendation video for me in a while.
Yeah, I know.
I've read a lot of the stuff that she recommends.
I think in her series, those were like all three on there.
Yeah, because half the time for like Appalachian literature, I can only find like anthologies, which I like don't really want.
But she's from our tri-state area. But I like her Appalachian series too.
Yeah. I don't think I looked at the camera the whole time.
I think I was just staring at you.
I was
the whole
looking
time.
at you.
Yeah.
Hope that's not a problem.
Right. Hope that doesn't bother you guys. But yeah, that was the mid-year book Freakout tag, and I was telling you I feel like I was the last one that like did this. So if you haven't done this tag, you're more than welcome to. Kelsey did not go to Yale, despite what her sweater says. And as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.